and I was very rebellious. See, when I came and joined Makerere University, after a fairly long time out in Soviet Union for my master's and PhD, I found that my colleagues in Makerere were not doing the things I went through when I was in that university in Odessa. There, by the time a graduate is out, he has or she has something to go and work in the industry somewhere there. So I wanted to do a similar thing. For 10 years I was in Makerere, I didn't see my colleagues agreeing to march along that route. Okay. Now, when the time came to start new universities in this country, I agreed to go to Gulu to start a new university because I wanted to do things differently and that way in which I was trained. 3 years, they were doing the same things. So when I came back, leaving Gulu, I told myself, I think the alternative is to work with a different mindset. Okay? And this mindset I found among my engineering students in the engineering mathematics class. So what I did was create what we came to call as a dungeon. My office, and I put some coffee things there, and then I would ask, who of you will want to come with me to my dungeon so as to prove the formula I've just given to you that it can work? There are many came up. Hey, by the way, Honorable Minister, including Paul. So they agreed to start coming to my office instead of going to Kiembe Lane. Where do we go? And when they agreed, then I said, now, here is the starting point. Fresh minds, people are prepared to question established situations, established positions. And indeed, it is with that I said, because fresh mind, people are prepared to work differently from the big guys, the big professors. I don't know whether the PSST was around at that time, but I think it left. So that was the situation, and that's really what compelled me to adopt a different approach, not from the colleagues with whom we would spend time arguing who is right, who is not right, and yet some of those things are established. But the young minds who are prepared to follow this professor and then go and inquire whether the professor is talking the right things. So, Your Excellency, my answer, as I said, was a protest.
Thank you very much, Professor. That's how professors respond to questions. I am sure some students here of S3 there, I can see them. They might be wondering, why did the professor take 2 minutes responding to such a simple question? So I have given you opportunity to see and to know how professors respond to questions comprehensively so that everybody understands. But in future, when they ask you in P7OS for how to respond, don't respond like him. Respond how your teacher has taught you how to respond. Because when someone is marking, he might say that this one was not an S4 who sat this paper. It might have been a professor. And you lose your marks. That is now for our young ones of secondary school. But I want to thank Professor, but also as you are critical thinkers, that time you used to say that we are strategic thinkers, we the politicians. You see the innovation now, it started from a mica to a bus. You are still moving with your young graduates. I am sure those young graduates have now impacted on another crop of graduates. But I have also seen that they have not lost the leadership of the innovation, which is Professor Tikodri. Because why is it that we can now why isn't it that we can now say, let Haji Gobi now take over this Kira thing, let Professor Tikodri go to Arua there? Is that possible? Professor, my brother PSST, because you are the one who is funding after all. Why don't we wake up one morning and say, now let the PSST take over the leadership of the Kira EV innovation? Why don't we say that? I have seen that philosophy in you, the innovation. You move so systematically, the leadership and the initiators of the innovation don't lose track, and no one forces them out of the way. That's why when I came here today, I was very excited to see Professor Tikodri, because I know that he's steering that innovation from the start up to the logical conclusion without losing any track. That is a very important philosophy which we have learned and which I have picked from the innovations. And all of them, even when we went to the stall of which was called the supermarket, stall was called what? The economy of productivity. I asked that, are you the one who started this from the word go? He said, yes. Are you the one who started this bread from sweet potatoes to bread? Yes. Are you the one who started this, making these shoe brushes? I said, what did you use? They used the tails of the cows. The innovator is there in the market, selling now the finished product. That's a very important message, Tikodri, for some of us. And also it is in politics. It is also in politics. That philosophy is also in politics. Because as you heard the PSST saying, that His Excellency the President is a champion of innovation. He practically preaches every day, even if it is in a policy, that sciences are compulsory at primary school and secondary schools, and deliberately instructs the Minister of Education to take keen interest in it, because that is a nursery bed for all these innovators. He particularly created an innovation fund. And when I was the Minister of Education, he initiated the incubation centers in all universities, incubation centers. And he's the one who started the fully fledged sector of Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation. So that qualifies the statement from the PSST that it is indeed true that His Excellency the President is a champion of innovation. I'm going to read his message, but I would also like to remind all of us, since God has brought us together in the same hall on the over innovation, is that His Excellency the President has also been the champion of peace and security in our country. Peace and security enables the innovator to work on this product day and night uninterrupted. That means he is still key to all innovators. Building professional army and also linking Uganda to other professional armies for the sake of the security of our country and also the region. Many of you know that the motorcycles, even the buses, and so many other products which were produced here need to be transported from point A to point B. I think in the record and in the history of Uganda, His Excellency President Museveni is the one who has done the biggest road network since independence. Infrastructure, on roads, into tarmac, railway, airports, even ferries. I never used to know a ferry. I grew up from a place where there was no ferry. And yet we had a lake, a very beautiful lake called Lake Opeta. But some 6 years ago is when I saw a ferry transport through water. All that is needed by innovators when they finally have their product in the market to move them from point A to point B, nationally but also regionally. Poverty elevation. PSST knows that all what you are seeing today are stimuli to poverty elevation. Programs such as NADS, OWC, Youth Fund, Women Fund, you are the one funding them, PDM now, all require the outcome of these innovations in order to create wealth and jobs. Commercial agriculture, industrialization, ICT, and jobs and wealth creation. What I am saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that your philosophy is exactly the philosophy of management and leadership. When those ones who go to space talk about satellite, for me, who is not a scientist, the example I can give is that when you go into the airport and you are booked into an airline, you enter the aircraft and you start by taxiing. Then after taxiing, they tell you that now after taxiing, there will be takeoff. After takeoff, then landing. In between there is nothing because you are in the air. There is no stopping on the way when, like here, when you are going in a taxi, you can stop somewhere and gayas a bit. But in the aircraft, they tell you that taxiing, takeoff, and landing, period. Anything between that is a problem. It will be described in another way. Even if you have almost landed near where you are supposed to land, like the one who landed near recently in Tanzania, it was even near the airport, but they did not say he landed. It was a different word. So I would like to state that here in Uganda, we left the taxiing stage. We left the taxiing stage. We even took off. We are now in the air. And we have our pilot who is extremely able. I have never heard when the pilot is changed in the air. The pilots who are there in the aircraft are the ones who will take the passengers until the time for landing. That is the philosophy with innovators. I am not creating anything. I'm not inventing the wheel. The only request now I'm making to you, the innovators, is to help us to explain to the rest of the Ugandans who are not innovators, to understand that when you have a pilot who is in charge, please move with the pilot until you land well and safely. So His Excellency the President is still with us, very competent and very keen in the implementation of the NRM Manifesto and the National Development Plan 3, and he will still be with us in the 2026 general elections. So that he continues to support innovators and innovation, science and technology, so that we transform. That's my message. Don't associate it with anything. You can quote me on that. Don't associate it with anyone. That's my message. In the Army PSST, what you have said you own, and you bear the responsibility. So that one I have said it, I own it, and I am prepared to bear the responsibility. So allow me now to read the message of His Excellency the President. Countrymen, countrywomen, and the Bazukulu of Uganda. Uganda joins the international community in the celebration of this year's World Science Day. I congratulate the Ugandan scientists for their commendable contribution to development and socio-economic transformation. The NRM government recognizes the fundamental role of science and technology in improving the welfare of Ugandans. On 7th November 2022, Uganda made history by launching into international space her first satellite, Pearl Africa Sat-1. It is important to note that the satellite was made by 3 Ugandan engineers. It was also fully funded by the Uganda government and launched by the USA's National Aeronautics and Space Administration. I congratulate the young people who spearheaded this monumental initiative. Uganda's development needs are growing. The fact necessitates that we build robust technological capacity to cope with the changing social and physical environment. The patriotic NRM has been building Uganda's industrial and manufacturing capacity in order to reduce dependence on foreign commodities and services. We have saved Ugandans from donating jobs and money to buy items that can be produced here in Uganda. Buy Uganda, Build Uganda has helped Uganda to avoid the vulnerability that comes with global crisis-induced supply chain disruptions of essential commodities that are crucial to our livelihood and socio-economic progress. Africa's continued dependency on the former colonialists has denied us the opportunity to build our internal capacity to solve local challenges. I commend Dr. Msenero and her team at the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat for coordinating scientific research and innovations that will help Uganda to eradicate diseases, promote job creation and wealth creation, and in turn stimulate and consolidate socio-economic transformation. I call upon all citizens to embrace science, technology, and innovation as catalysts for growth and national development. I thank you all, and it is signed by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, General President of the Republic of Uganda.
Let us stand for the anthems.
because we want to kindly request you to carry something to His Excellency, which we had prepared for him. I'm going to request Professor Tikodri and Abraham. Yes, it is ready. Please come quickly and bring the... Your Excellency, as you have ably articulated, His Excellency has played a huge role in promoting science. So as scientists, we have prepared an award for him. This is the highest award for science in Uganda, called the Pearl Science Award. And there is no better person to present than a professor who has done it all. So, Your Excellency, you receive this on behalf of His Excellency and help us to deliver to him.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Honorable Ministers. We thank the Ambassador of Rwanda for being with us, the team from Estico, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The exhibitions are still open up to 7, and you are welcome to go and tour the exhibitions until evening. PSST, we thank you for being with us and for supporting STI. I welcome all of you to go for the tour of the exhibitions. The session, the closing function has ended. Now we can tour the exhibitions until 7 in the evening. Thank you very much.